Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Right, we're live.
Praise God.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good
I'm going
morning,
to
ma'am.
unmute everyone now, or I'm going to ask everyone to unmute. You can all unmute. I've given permission for everyone to unmute themselves so that we can just hear ourselves. Thank you, Auntie Carol Aivi. I see you.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning,
Thank
everybody.
you, Cthulhu Alfonzo. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Dele. I can see you. Thank you, Oluwayemisi, Debbie, Paul. Thank you, Radumala. Thank you. Thank you, Patience Iyade. Thank you, Sam Davis. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, everyone. I can see everyone. So just so we'll test our mics before I unmute everyone. So now that we're sure that we can all hear ourselves, we'll kick off, okay? Welcome to Mind the Mind 2.0. We're live on YouTube. I hope it works, but it shows here that we're live on YouTube, so that we can also have a replay. And then after this whole session, the replay will be available because it will be recorded. So just a moment. Just a moment, please. Okay, so after this session, the recording will be available. So we may send to everyone if you so wish. But you're welcome again. My name is Oluronke Oluwalere, and I'm your host for today. With me, I have Coach Tolu Afonja, and I have Dele Abogo. He's my pastor and my coach and my mentor. Tolu Afonja is my coach and my mentor as well. I'm glad to have and to share this space with them today, as well as with every one of you. I'm so glad that we're here. Thank you, everyone. So I'm going to mute everyone now. Coach Tolu, you may have to unmute yourself after now. So now that the introductions are underway, I'm going to have to I'll just read out the bio for Coach Tolu so that we can kick off. Just a moment. Coach Tolu, can you hear me? She says she can't hear me. Hello, Coach Tolu, can you hear me now? Yes.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Good morning, Coach Tolu. You're welcome. Thank you very, very much. I'm so glad to have you here. Can you hear me now? Wow, Coach Tolu is hot. Hello. Hello. Coach Tolu, if you can hear us, please say something so that we'll be sure. Because I'm about to read your bio and I want you to come right in. It's supposed to be an hour program. Introduction should stop in about 2 minutes. PD, I see you. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Tofumi and Moshokwe. Thank you, everyone. Sorry, we've had to mute everyone, but you have permission to unmute yourself when it's time. Okay, but just a moment. So if you see me muting you always, it's because I see that maybe 1 or 2 people are unmuted. So, but however it goes, you still have permission to unmute yourself. Coach Tolu, can you hear us now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, please. We can hear you live and
clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. We can hear you. Thank you, Coach Tolu, for joining.
I want to confirm that you can hear me as well.
Yes, I can hear you, Pastor Dele. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. So right now we kick off, and I'm going to start again by welcoming everyone. My name is Oluronke Oluwalere. I am the convener of Mind the Mind, and this is our 2nd edition. We've titled it Mind the Mind 2.0, Minding Your Relationships. just like especially with so many things going on now, we know that our emotions are valid in this season because it's been like a roller coaster kind of ride with so many things going on with the COVID, with so many people grieving, we've lost some very, very dear ones, and so many things may have happened that you may not even be able to share. But what are we talking about today? We're talking about minding our relationships because we know without a shadow of doubt that it affects our emotions, and it has a way of seeping through, into our minds, and it may even have a way of affecting our overall, lifestyle or overall well-being at the end of the day. So the major reason we're here is to discuss and share how we can best mind our relationships so that it would also help us to mind or help us to put us in a very good place with our emotional wellness and overall well-being. So welcome with me again, Coach Cthulhu Alfonzo. She's a certified life and relationship coach and an emotional intelligence certified practitioner who uses her gifts, experiences, and skills to help individuals, couples, and organizations transition from their current state to their desired state, to evolve to thrive as they become the best versions of themselves in achieving peak performance. She's the founder of Before Marriage, a relationship coaching platform created to help engage couples to evolve to thrive together, preparing them for marital bliss. She's a certified Symbis facilitator. She also works with married couples who desire to improve the dynamics in their marriage, to enjoy happiness and fulfillment. She anchors the Uncensored Talk, a live radio show on Lagos Talks 91.3 FM, focused on building strong and harmonious relationships and marriages. In March 2019, Tolu was honored with the Icon Award at the Coaching Icon Awards held in Lagos for her contributions to the coaching industry in Nigeria. She's a member of the Life Coaches Association of Nigeria. Please join me in welcoming Coach Tolu. And just before she comes up, because I know that, if it was a live, if it was a physical, gathering, we would expect that we applaud very well so much at this time, but I'm so sorry that we may not be able to do that right now. If you have your virtual, you can do virtual applause in the chat room and all of that. And then, but before she comes up, I would like to take Pastor Dele's bio as well. Just a moment. I'll take Pastor Dele's bio as well, because we may not be able to, once we kickstart, we'll just have to, start right away. You're welcome, Pastor Dele. Dele Abogo is a pastor, a writer, teacher, relationship, and family life coach. He has helped many couples and singles in courtship find their purpose and fulfillment in their relationships. Dele Abogo combines spiritual, pragmatic, experiential, and therapeutic approaches in dealing with relationship issues. This undoubtedly informs most of the thoughts behind his book. Though an engineer by training, Dele Abogun has close to 2 decades experience as a counselor and a marriage mentor. This is in addition to an unusual perspective on human behavioral patterns and relationships, and these insights have shaped his talks and writings. He has an MBA from the Business School Netherlands and has obtained several certifications and trainings in the field of counseling and family life. He's a member of faculty of Daystar Leadership Academy, Lagos, Nigeria. He lives in Lagos, Nigeria with his wife, Uwa, a human resource professional, and they are blessed with 3 remarkable children. With great joy, I welcome Pastor Dele Abogo and Coach Tolu Alfonzo to this meeting. So, Coach Tolu, you have the floor now. Please go ahead. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Olurunke. I hope everyone can hear me. Good, beautiful morning to you all. It's a great day. I hope, can you hear me? Please, if you can
Yes,
hear me. let me know. All right, fantastic. Okay, so yes, today is a great day, and today we're focusing on minding your relationships. Hello, can you hear me? Just let me
Yes,
know.
we can hear you. Yes, please.
Okay,
Please go
hello,
ahead.
can you
We
hear
can
me?
hear you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, minding your relationships. So first, we're gonna have a lot of a Q&A session. So my brief few minutes of conversation is really about relationships. Life is meaningless without relationships. The most fulfilling experiences we have are relationships. So in other words, relationships run our lives. As people think about relationships, the first thing that comes to mind is an amorous relationship between a boy and a girl, boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife. However, that's only one kind of relationship, because we have other relationships around us. You have father, mother, you have father, son, father, daughter, mother, son, mother, daughter. You have colleagues, you have friends, you have well-wishers. You know, what I always call friends are well-wishers. So relationships are all around us. We are all connected in a web of relationships that involve scores of hundreds of people, ranging from members of our immediate family, business associates, extended family, and people in our lives, and general spheres of influences in one way or the other. So when we factor in the impact of technology, especially social networking sites, that's another platform of building relationships. So even with people you don't physically see, COVID-19 has is now encouraging social distancing, physical distancing, and the likes. So with that, we even form relationships online right now without even getting to meet them physically in one way or the other. But before we go deep into this, let's look at what is a relationship. Let's define a relation one way or the other, in which two or more people or things are connected. So for the focus of our conversation today, we're looking at human beings, not just things. And relationship could therefore mean the state of being connected by blood or marriage. It is a way in which two or more people or groups of people regard and behave towards each other. It can also be seen as an emotional and sexual association between two people. Now, the way we experience life is directly dependent on how we work with people. In other words, the nature and manner of our interactions and communication with others. And it is this interaction and communication that affects our minds, our emotions. We make assumptions, we have perceptions of what is going on within that relationship. And these relationships end up giving us a feeling, a feeling of some sort. So it's either you're happy in your relationship, you're sad in that particular relationship, you feel excited about the relationship, you feel unhappy or sad or depressed about the association you have with one person or groups of people. So it's really about how do you feel? What do you see yourself doing in that relationship? So no matter what context in which we are operating, we can improve the quality of our lives and the fulfillment we derive in any kind of relationship we are in by keeping a firm grip on the dynamics within that relationship and in any area of our lives. So when you understand the state of your relationship, because it's the state of your relationship that really affects the way we think about that relationship, it is what affects our emotions about that relationship, it is what is going on within our minds about that relationship. And so it is the state of this relationship that can help you to create what you desire for that relationship. So whether you're happy, you want to be happier. Whether you're sad, you want to do something about that in that relationship. But it really takes an understanding of the individuals involved to know exactly what they desire in the relationship. So some of the things that affect our minds and our emotions in relationships, your personal history, your experiences, our history and life experiences, they go a long way to shape what we think, what we feel, and what goes on within relationships. And this includes the roles that was played by our parents, the society, and other, authoritative influences, people of authority that we have placed as influences in our lives, both in the past and in current relationships. Another thing that has great influence on our minds, our emotions within relationships, is our perceptions. So most of the time, how we relate with people is not always entirely based on who they are and how they have conducted themselves. It is sometimes a reflection of our own beliefs and our emotional reactions based on our history, based on our past experiences. So our brain files away various experiences, and therefore we create patterns that subconsciously influence our behavior and trigger automatic reactions within us. And so these reactions will form the basis of the patterns, the emotions, and what's going on within us between two or more people, in any form of relationship. So thank you. I look forward to responding to your questions, but this was just like a brief introduction on what relationships are, what drives relationships, and really how these relationships affect our emotions and our minds. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Cthulhu. We appreciate that brief introduction. Over to you, sir, Mr. Dele.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. And I want to say I'm sorry. You are seeing the background. I'm in the car. There's another program that almost clashed. That I said, okay, let me make sure that I am still able to be present in this one. So I want to say thank you for putting these things together. And thank you, Coach Tolu. Very insightful. She has made the job easy for me because my own intro should be shorter than that. I've gone deep into it. So I believe whatever introduction we need to kickstart, she had actually done a very good job on that. And what I just want to emphasize further, he said some of them, is, when we talk about the state of mind, when we talk about mind your mind, and minding your relationship, when we talk about the mind operates like more like the central processing unit like we have in the system, and the behavior of that system is largely dependent on what you put into it. Talking about the input, then the processor itself, then before you get the output. So we as human beings generally, our attitude to life is largely dependent on what we were programmed with growing up. And it stems from the upbringing, it stems from environment, it stems from the association that we have, it stems from the kind of culture that we grew from. Some are installed consciously, some are installed in fact, most are installed unconsciously, because when we see these behaviors, when we are growing up, some of them we don't really like, but unconsciously we don't know that it has gone into the inner core of our being and just waiting for the appropriate time at appropriate time in our life. By the time we are now in a relationship, by the time we eventually now get married, that's when they start playing up. You see somebody saying, I can't even imagine that I can lift a hand over somebody, and at the end of the day find himself or herself being physical in a relationship. So when we talk about that mind, today we are just narrowing down to relationship, but largely what you allow to come and sit in your mind largely goes out to determine your attitude or disposition to life, and it affects your job, it affects your career, it affects your spiritual well-being, it affects practically everything that you do in life. So coming down to relationship and minding, there's a sense in which we are now looking at how can relationship affect our minds. And Coach Tolu also have given the background. You also mentioned something about the current reality that we find ourselves now. So we should not be surprised the way some people are acting right now, because it's a function of what they have been programmed with. And that tend to determine how they see life and how they approach life. So when we narrow it down to relationship, I'm looking at it in such a way that when you see a working relationship, is someone either have the right programming from the past or someone that had worked with the wrong programming, open to changes and counseling session, and is open and being flexible to now make himself or herself balanced in such a way that it makes a relationship to work. As we go on, I believe we are going to have so many questions that will help us now dive into different angles and perspective to all of this. But just to bring it to a close, I just want to say that we should be very deliberate with what we do. Let's query whatever it is that we are doing. What we know now might not necessarily mean the best that is to know. So if we are not careful, how we have been programmed tend to suggest to us that what we know is all that there is to know. But people should know that there's far, 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 far more to life than meets the eyes. And there's far more than we can positively comprehend. Therefore, we have to position ourselves in such a way that unending yearning and unending querying of status quo becomes our nature and our norm, because that is the only way we can improve in all that we do and make us more effective and efficient in our relationships. And that's how we can put our mind really candidly under control and being healthy in such a manner. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pastor Dele, for that insightful session. Even though it's an introduction, I must say that it's actually packed. We've decided to, put everything together so that we would be able to, finish up at 11, okay? It's supposed to be for an hour. Thankfully, we started right on time and we should end by 11. So we decided to have those introductory remarks from our speakers so that we can have more time with our Q&As. Just in case, just as we go on, in case you have any question bothering, minding your relationships, please, you can raise your hand using that icon on Zoom. So you can raise your hand. We'll be able to, answer your questions. We've had some questions come in before now, so we will be able to, take them right away. And if you do not want to ask directly, please, you can send a mail to emotionalwellnesstribe@gmail.com so that as they come in, we would also be able to take your questions. So we're going to go live into the Q&A right now. But just as we, prepare the questions, I would like us to know that just as you may have heard so many people talk about the fact that everything rises and falls on leadership. Sometimes, even most times, especially with our current realities, we should be able to say as well that everything rises and falls on the brink or the edge of relationships. Okay, so you may need to take your relationship seriously, and take note also, I want you to also decongest your mind so that you don't think that we're talking, when we say relationships, we're not talking majorly about maybe your amorous relationships, marital, premarital, and all of that. We're talking relationships across boards. We're talking relationships, that has to do with any, relationship you have with any human being or in anything that you do. So the first question that we have right now says that, how do you handle difficult and unlovable people? I'll let you answer that, Coach Tolu. Please go ahead.
So how do you handle difficult and unlovable people? So who qualifies them as difficult, or what qualifies them as unlovable? Because there's something that personally I believe that the state of somebody's mind or heart in that moment may seem that the person is difficult and unlovable, but you are the one seeing it like that. Are other people seeing this person as being difficult and unlovable? So how do you handle someone that is difficult and unlovable? The first thing I would say is, who or what makes you think that this person is difficult and because there is always, like I said earlier during the introductory bit, that there are always patterns and things going on within people from their backgrounds and all, that their actions or inactions will not make you to perceive, because you are coming from another background and you have high expectations of this person, because those expectations are not met in one way or the other, automatically qualified as difficult and unlovable. So
Thank you very much.
if you are able to go down to the root of what this is all about, then you'll be able to understand and love such a person or relate with such a person. You know, you say you can. There's some. We say that you can change people, change yourself. So what do you need to do to be able to relate with this, in quotes, difficult and lovable person? That's what I'm saying about that.
Okay.
So you go back and check yourself. You know, what are the things that I need to do? What do I need to understand about this person? You know, that the understanding of this person will help me to be able to relate better with this individual.
Okay. Thank you very much, Cthulhu. Pastor Dele, you want to have a go at that question?
Let me just keep it in place. She answered it very well, but I just want to add that nothing means anything in life except the meaning you give it. So I think it's more about understanding your own person and also understanding the person. And it will require, because if you are finding difficult, you know, when people are saying somebody is difficult, understand him and I this, they need to get to a point where they need to ask themselves, because you see people the way you are, not the way the people really are. So it takes a different level of wisdom and knowledge to understand people the way they are. Naturally, that's what we would do, but you have to be very intentional and deliberately look at it that, okay, this person, because the word difficult is because of it's because of knowledge gap. And if there's a knowledge gap, then I need to look more into it and see how I can bridge that gap. Then I will understand. Because sometimes, for instance, if somebody says, oh, somebody sees himself or herself as bold, and somebody is looking and say, this person is arrogant, or this person is bossy. So that's just what I want to add to it. So it gives more balance. It gives balance to it at the end of the day.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Second question here says, what do you do to attract the right kind of people? A single person willing to marry is asking. Cthulhu?
Okay, so what do you do to attract the right kind of people or persons? I mean, that's the question, right? The first thing is to first identify what you even want. What do you want in that relationship?
Exactly.
So, yes, what do you want in the relationship? Most times you're looking for the right person, but you need to first identify what you want in a relationship that's going to make you happy. So what are the 5 critical things that are important for you, that you know that when this thing exists, you will be able to say that, yes, I have attracted the right person. Otherwise, if you're not able to define and be specific about what you want, then the definition of the right person would always be blurred in your mind. So somebody comes, is not right. That person comes, is not right. So what makes it right? So you need to be able to define. And then apart from that, when you're able to define and specify what you want in the relationship, then you go back and check yourself that, am I the kind of person that will attract this person? So put yourself in the other person's shoes, that if this person, your spouse or partner, or the person you want as a partner in that relationship, if this person is me, this right person, am I projecting the kind of person that he will want to stay with or she will want to stay with? So you go back and introspect that, am I the kind of person that would attract what I say I want? So sometimes we say so many things. It's just, for example, saying a man wants a lady that is independent, or that is working and can put food on the table or something like that. But yet the man, are you also that kind of person that is not late, that is focused and driven? and is ready to do that, because you have to put yourself in a state where you will attract what you want. So you define what you want first, then you look inwards. Am I the kind of person that will attract this kind of, what you have defined for yourself? And so first thing is to work on yourself, work on yourself to a point where you attract what you say you want, and then those people or the situations or the dynamics that you say you want, such people, you profile them, where can you find them? It's one thing to say that I want somebody that enjoys networking, that loves going out, and extrovert, and yet you sit in your house. So is it in your house you will find the extrovert? No. So you go out and go and look for the extrovert, So yes, you need to, hello, can everybody hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. So you need to first find out exactly what and define what you want in the relationship, and then look inwards. Am I the kind of person, based on those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that you have identified? Am I the kind of person that would attract this kind of person? And then we continue like that. Thank you. Pastor Dele, you want to add to that?
We'll be adding it one after the other.
Okay,
You're right, because your values determines your value system determines how you see life, and how you see life would determine the choice of the person that will come to you. People saying, I want the right kind of man, I want the right kind of woman. I heard one funny story about somebody that said the person knew that he or she has some character flaws, and now decided, okay, if I'm looking for somebody good, I have to go to a religious setting. So the person had to go to a religious setting. Then there's also another lady who said, okay, I also have a character flaw. And I said, okay, if I'm looking for somebody that is right, I think I need to go to a religious setting. Lo and behold, the two of them got themselves together, and they put up a facade that is not a true representation of who they are. It was after they were married. I now discover and then say, oh, I didn't know you are this way. So I didn't know you are this, so you are even crook, and I was looking for something. So kind will always beget kind, and we have to just be careful. Once you understand yourself fully, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, where will you be? So if you have an idea where you will be in terms of your career, in terms of your, if you are a ministry person, or in terms of what your purpose is in life, then it determines the choice of partner you will settle with at the end of the day. Thank you.
all right. Thank you, Pastor Dele. I like that submission, and thank you, Cthulhu. Kind begets kind. It means that you mirror the kind of person that you are. So that question should, jumping right at me right now. And I think that you should also, think about it. Who are you? Okay. The reality is in who you are. Who you are determines to a large extent who you attract.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. And here's the next question. Please, at this time, I would like to also, crave our indulgence to drop your messages or your questions in the chat box. I can see Adura Bemi Sola Oladende. Your question says, if you are drawn towards a man as a woman, how can you approach the situation when the man is not forthcoming? Pastor Dele, do you want to answer that?
Okay. We live in a society where the culture of a lady speaking up first is not, if you see a lady who come forward and say, I like you, it can be termed as a taboo.
Okay, that's culture. Hello, Pastor Dele?
Because the culture has not grown. You want to be with somebody that's your friend. You want to this person, and it looks as if the person force it, because before any meaningful relationship will start, it will all be
Hello? I think there's a network
from
issue there. I'm so sorry about the network issue. Hello? Mr. Dele, can you hear us? Okay, I'm sorry about that. Kotolu, you want to take a go at that question?
Was the
Question was
about
if a woman is drawn towards a
a
man.
lady that is attracted. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay, so if a man, sorry, I didn't get that. If a lady is drawn towards a man,
and the man is not forthcoming,
yeah,
what do you suggest that that person, the person asking the question, is saying that if you're drawn towards a man as a woman, how can you approach the situation when the man is not forthcoming?
So when you say forthcoming,
yes, Pastor Dele, we
okay,
can
Pastor
hear you.
Dele is back.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, the signal went off. I was trying to say that, but that's not to say that someone will come across as if you are selling yourself short, because that is the perception. But there are phrases and statements you can make to let the person, if the person is mature and maybe the
Wow. I think we've lost the signal. Kotolu, can you please pick it up from there?
Okay, so really, any relationship, if you like the person, talk. I like this person. You know, if he's not forthcoming, really, if he's not forthcoming, I mean, what does not forthcoming mean? Is it that he's not seeing the signs and the signals and all of that that you're doing, you know, that you're even interested, you know, in him or her, you know, if there's already an established relationship, so are you already friends, you know, or you're just seeing the person from afar and once in a while you chat? What is on ground? What is currently going on between the two of you? And if you're already friends and the person is not forthcoming, then you also need to understand, I mean, also look at what exactly is this person looking out for that I'm not, you know, giving out. But you can also talk about it. Because if you keep it hidden and you're waiting for the person to come and approach you and all of that, and the person is not seeing it in that way, you talk about it, and then, you know, something else can kick off from that. Is either the guy says, oh, really, I'm sorry, I'm not seeing you in that light, you know, and maybe you're not the person's specs, let me put it that way. So even though you're friends, he's not looking at you as anything beyond that level of friendship. But for you, you have gone, you're thinking beyond that level of friendship. So, but you need to talk about it so that you know what to do, whether to continue having hopes or you check out, knowing that this person, I don't fit in or I fit in. That, yeah.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I can see some questions here as well. I'm going to take the question now, just a moment. What role does having a large heart play in a relationship? Please go ahead. If Pastor Dele is not here, ma'am, please go ahead.
Okay, so a large heart. I'm assuming that I mean, my own meaning of a large heart, so I don't know what this person's definition of a large heart is, but I'm assuming that based on my own definition of meaning, how I see a large heart is somebody that is open to loving, to giving, to receiving love at the same time. A good person, you know, a nice person, someone that is not difficult, you know, and is lovable, you know. So you're asking what role does this play in a relationship? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was muted.
Yes, I'm
So-
actually hearing a background noise from somewhere. So I had to
Okay.
mute everyone. So I want to be sure where it's coming from.
Okay. So
Sorry
what
if
I was
I've
saying is,
muted you. Please keep on mute so that we minimize the background noise may come in, please. Thank you, everyone.
so what I was saying is that a large heart, I'm assuming that a large heart, you're looking at somebody who is open to loving, he loves people or she loves people, she's kind, she's nice, is a good person, in quotes. Let me use the term good. And so the question is, how does this play in sustaining a relationship? It goes a long way because this is who you are. You know, love yourself and love mankind. You can't become somebody else or something else because the other person is, being difficult or the person doesn't appreciate the largeness of your heart. So having a large heart, even if it is not seen today, it will be appreciated in the future. But the main thing is continue being yourself with having a large heart, being the person that you are. It goes a long way in sustaining a relationship, especially for the 2 or 3 or 4 people, the parties involved in that relationship. It means these are your values. Your values are playing out, and people will understand that these are your values playing out. Sometimes people like that sometimes feel that they are being taken for granted and will just want to shut down and become who they are not. But this is who you are, these are your values. So it goes a long way in sustaining and building your relationship. I mean, if you are someone now without a large heart, now someone without a large heart, you'll be perceived as such. And some of the things that you would have attracted for yourself, you will not get, even in the relationships. So I don't know if Pastor Dele is online and he can join us. Respond.
Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so sorry for the network earlier. If another assumption of a large heart could mean maturity, and maturity in practical terms, for instance, now between myself and my wife now, she understands that I'm wired differently from her. My wife has a tendency, have a choleric nature, while I have like a phlegmal nature. We call it intimidating Homer nature for a choleric, and so my own kind of person, we call it an independable truck. And if you look at phleg kind of take time in making decisions. Sometimes they are in between and they're just dragging. A large heart, for instance, using my wife as a typical example, now she has a large heart to understand that I have to be patient with this person. Then a large heart from my own part should also mean that, okay, I need to understand her, that even sometimes she says some things, I need to understand that it's for my good. Whatever it is she's saying, if I don't like the approach, the way she's going about it, it's for my good at the end of the day. A large heart is synonymous to maybe psychological maturity, because we tell people that marriage is not for babies. They are not just for boys and girls, they are for mature people. So if you don't have that large heart, that marriage will suffer consequences along the way. And therefore, it's only a large heart that brings about understanding, brings about flexibility, brings about adaptability, brings about accommodating each other's weaknesses. Because if you are not there, whether we like it or yes, we all have weaknesses. And if you don't admit that and see how you can walk through it in a healthy way, there's always going to be a problem. So yes, it's a big plus for someone to have a large heart. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Pastor Dele. Thank you so very much. The questions are coming in right now, so we may have to just answer,
One at a time.
after the other. Yes, so that we can take almost all. I have a brother-in-law. I have a brother-in-law's wife living in another country. We hardly talk, but once in 5 years, we speak via my husband. I dislike the way she addresses me on the phone because she tends to ask my husband after my children and wants to speak with them without my, just a moment. I'm trying to see what this person means. Just a moment. Okay, I want to speak with them probably without my permission or something like that. Maybe that's what the person wrote. So, okay, I want to speak with them without asking after their mom, which I dislike. Kotolu, do you want to have a go? Just a very short one on that. She dislikes the way her in-law addresses her on the phone. How can you link that to having a mind a relationship in that regard? Hello, Kotolu? Okay, if we've actually lost connection to her, Kotolu, please unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I can hear you.
I can hear you. Yes.
I can hear you.
Oh.
Hello?
Okay, I think the
can hear
network
you.
is, we can hear you. Okay, let me just take a go at that while she's trying to sort the audio. Please take note for the person who asked that question.
So, like I was saying, whatever the dynamics, the way things are currently going on between the two people, they need to talk about it. So you don't like the way she addresses, it means that there's something this person already maybe feels about you, and you have identified this behavior, but you may not know exactly why she's behaving like that. So you can call her attention to it, and not the attention you're calling, not to the fact that she speaks to the children without asking after the mother, but this is already like a red flag saying that there's something going on between the two of us. So what is it about me that you don't even inquire of me, you don't ask after me? And on your own part, do you ask after her? So you say you don't even talk to her, so you don't talk to this person maybe once in 5 years or something. So do you want to have a better relationship and a closer relationship with this person? So first is to identify what the issue is, underlying issue is between yourself and this person, and then because this is what you have observed, and following that conversation, maybe other things will pop up, and then you know what to do.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. I'm trying to marry some questions together. I can see, how do you handle hunger in relationships? And I'm going to add that to a question that says, how best can we train our children to mind their minds? Pastor Dele, can you please take that in a very short, way, the two together, please?
Okay.
Parenting and
managing our
yes.
anger, it boils down. Managing our anger boils down to having control over your emotions. And if you track it back, like I started out, how you were raised, the kind of culture you grew from, your upbringing, and the association you have kept, I would say if this person is having it difficult, I would suggest, because there is more to it than just talking about it on the surface. It might require going through a therapy session and helping this person replace this disempowering state of mind to an empowering state of mind. But it's actually something that is workable. But we have to track it to where this thing started from, and knowing that any uncontrollable emotions have damaging consequences, even with our relationships. Then concerning the parenting, well, can I hear that question again?
How do we train our children to mind their minds?
We are like the mirror that they read. They see themselves through us. So beyond what we are telling them is to model this, whatever we're talking about, whatever position and how the best position to take as far as relationship is concerned, we're talking about. We don't just mount it, we leave it so that we become a model for them to emulate. It impacts them more than what we are telling. Because anybody know what to tell a child. You don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. But it's what you're saying congruent or in alignment with how you yourself are behaving. Then it will go a long way in showing them how best they can also mind their own mind.
Thank you very much. I think we lost Coach Tolu there, but I'll take this question quickly. So Pastor Dele, you can also take it while Coach Tolu is trying to get back on. Okay. Research has consistently established that to fall in love, Coach Tolu is back. So you may have to take this. Please unmute yourself as you get ready. Research has consistently established that to fall in love and stay in love is a skill. In your experiences, what is the most important skill to factor into love processes and relationships?
So what is the most important skill? There are so many important things put together to factor into love and relationships. One of the basic things is communication. Communication is very, very important.
Communication is key.
Breeds others. Yes, communication is key. In any relationship, you should be able to communicate. Otherwise, that is the foundation on which one of the many foundations for which a relationship is formed. So through communication, understanding comes in, even when there are conflicts, because there will surely be conflict. The way you handle conflict comes in through communication. So communication is one of the many things that we look at. Other things that, are also very important, but you need to talk about it, you need to communicate even in those other things. So for a relationship like marriage, for example, you're looking at your finances, your health and your well-being individually. So what is going on with my health and my well-being? What is going on with the other person's health and well-being? Because that together will also form the health and well-being of that relationship. You have finances. Finances too is also a very critical element. But what is it even about finances? You need to communicate and understand what is going on concerning your finances, agree on what you want to do. So communication is really, really one of the big, every other thing falls on communication.
Thank you very much. Pastor Dele, you want to take a go at that? Skills in relationship. Skills that we need.
I think she's yes. That one she took that she discussed is actually 85% marriage. So it's good. Once we can master that, we've mastered a good percentage of it. So I don't want to dwell more on that, being conscious of time as well.
All right. So Pastor Dele would have to leave any moment from now, but he's going to take just one more question before he goes. My boss is a very difficult person to please. If I please my boss every time, I get really unhappy. How do I balance self-love here, seeing that I do not want to lose my job and I do not want to get to the point of depression? Can you take that quickly, sir, before you leave?
All right. This is what I will say. And one of my mentors taught me many years back. He said, once you sign in for a job, no matter how difficult your boss is, whatever your boss wants, he said you give to the person. I'm not talking about compromising here now, but say whatever, if it has to do with the task, or maybe it's demanding quite a number of tasks that is heavy on you. As long as you've signed that contract that you are working for that organization, he said you give the person. If the person decides, okay, you have to stay there till 8 p.m., you have to stay there till 9 p.m., then you have to give the person what the person wants. Said the moment you get to a point where you can no longer say you are 100% loyal to the organization, they say it's advisable for you to just leave that job. So I want to say, I think the state of your mind is more important than the job we're talking about. You see people picking up a job that is less in terms of what they earn than the one they eventually settle for. So I will advise that your state of mind is important so that you don't sink into depression and it does not result to other health challenges. At the same time, once you know your worth, you are not sentenced to be in an organization permanently and forever. Once you know your worth, you know the value you carry, you know what you're bringing on the table, then a boss that does not recognize that talent or that gift. I teach on leadership development, and I tell people the best hands in any organization, if you don't give them expression, they will go to other organizations of similar competition, and it can grind that organization permanently to a halt. So once you know your area of skill and you know that you've done your best and you have gotten to that point where it's beginning to border on you losing your peace and the state of your heart, is your mind is no longer intact and it's not affecting you, I believe you should find a way of living that place. But before you do, please, you don't live in a reactive way. Don't be reactive in your decision. make sure you are taking an objective decision. You might want to talk to someone more about this, even after this program, so that we'll look at it objectively and be able to advise that, oh, it's worth deciding you taking the decision. Because some other times we might actually be the one that is at fault until somebody help us to point it out. How competent are we? Are we dropping the ball? Is it that we are not measuring up to the standard that the boss is actually asking for? Because so it's a bit dicey. I won't say the answer is this straight jacket. So it's when we have more discussion on this that we'll be able to now candidly say, okay, this is the best route to take, or this is the best decision to make at this point in time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor Dele. I'll let Kotolu answer that, but Pastor Dele, can you turn on your phone camera so that we can take a selfie before you go? I'm sorry, everyone. Pastor Dele has to go any moment from now. He has some pastoral duties to perform. So here we go with the selfie. Another pose. All right. Thank you, Pastor Dele. We honor you and we celebrate you. Thank you so very much for coming. Thank you so very much.
And thank you everyone for logging on. Our relationship will experience bliss in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen.
Thank
you
you
very much, sir. Have a wonderful day. So we continue with the session.
Coach Tolu. I enjoy you. I will reach out to you more.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Have a wonderful day. So sorry, everyone, that Pastor Dele has to leave now. Kotolu, over to you with that question. I need you to please take a go at it quickly.
So the question is, if I please my boss every time, I get really unhappy. How do I balance self-love, right? Things that you do not want to do to your job. So what's the definition of pleasing your boss? What are you doing exactly to please your boss? And, how is that affecting you in loving yourself, in self-love? Because for this, this is, I can't really say much about this because I would need to clarify something. So when you say you're pleasing your boss, is it concerning the task or is it concerning the job that you have been employed to do, or in other things? So when you say pleasing your boss, there are a lot of things that comes to pleasing your boss. So is it pleasing your boss based on your work and what you have signed up to do, or pleasing your boss based on your work and other things? So at that point in time, you need to really clarify what is against your own values, what is against your morals, what is against your ethics. But if it is not against what you have signed up for in terms of the values of the job and your company, the work that you have been assigned to, the targets that you have been given, or whatever, then you go all out to do what you have signed up to do, what you have agreed to do. Whether your job description, your KPIs, whatever it is, you go on to do your work if it is, in agreement with what you signed to do. But if it is against your values and every other thing, then you need to sit and evaluate that where are these conflicts coming from. So,
okay. All right. Thank you very much, Kotolu. I'm going to marry some questions together so that we can rush to answer some more. Some more are coming in through the one we have received before now. It says that I am above in my 30s and I seem not to find relationships that work. How do I go about this? Is something wrong with me? I think the person is a female or male. I'm not sure, but please answer, with both genders in mind.
So you seem to be in a relation. You seem to be in relationships that do not work. The first thing I would say is to identify what's the pattern. So relationship one, what happened? What happened? Most times we're used to putting the blame on the other person. That is this person that did not do this, the person did not do this, and also look at the pattern. Relationship one, what surrounded the breakup? Relationship two, what surrounded it? Relationship three. So when you identify the patterns, what was right and what was not right. The objective in identifying those patterns, and then you know what next to do.
Okay. So identifying the patterns.
So that because in every relationship, in something you're learning from it. So what are you here? Knowing exactly what you need to do, what your lessons are from those relationships, and what you need to do moving
And
forward.
then you move. All right. Thank you, everyone. There's another one. Are my customers always right? In my practice, I think they are not always right, and they need some truth sometimes. This position of mine is affecting my relationship. How do I strike a balance?
Okay, so what percentage of your customers do what percentage of your customers have an issue with you? So if you may want to do a poll, in terms of a survey, what percentage of your customers are having issues with you, or you think that are not right. Also, depending on the kind of service that you provide or the product that you provide for people, you may need to educate them. So some customers come in and do not know much. So being that you are the one that is the custodian of what you have, they may have expectations and you're trying to explain. So communication also comes into at that point, in terms of educating them and helping them to be aware such that they now know exactly what you're doing. So communication is very, very key.
Very key.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's another one, just as we try to round up, I'm trying to, fuse them into two. I fear for my parenting style with my kids growing up now. I feel stuck deep down. My kids are really young. What practical ways? I think we've talked about that while Pastor Dele talked about helping children mind their minds. Okay. Let me take this one. My parents were separated in my early years, and we, their children, suffered from their messy breakup. Now, I fear the same pattern will happen as a man. How do I stop this from repeating itself?
So you've already identified that your parents' breakup affected you, all right? So you already know what happened. You've identified the pattern, and you don't want it to repeat itself. So right now is to start working on yourself.
Right.
So this is like you have identified lessons or things, wisdom, and you probably have even seen other homes or other places where that you want to mirror, or you go on, you do your research, you get a coach to work through it with you, such that whatever you may have experienced in your background, the patterns that you have come up with, you can break those patterns and create new patterns for yourself and for your children.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much, ma'am. Let me take this one. My siblings and I are kind of cool, but the rivalry between us sometimes is something else. I feel my parents take sides sometimes, and it gets to me. What can I do?
So you say your siblings are cool, all of you are cool, but then there's rivalry. So what do you want to say about the rivalry and your ideas that your parents are taking sides? Communication is the bedrock of everything, but at the same time, what is going on within you in terms of what do you think? Why do you think that there's so much rivalry going on? What have you identified? Once you can identify those particular situations and issues, and you have conversations about them with the people involved, then you get to know. I remember recently one of my children told me that he felt that I was not behaving in the same way that I was behaving to his siblings. And I said, see, I explained to him, I said, both of you have different personalities, and I have identified that, so if there's a way you want me to behave to you and I'm not behaving to you, I'm sorry. Now we have spoken about it, I feel the gap. All right. So you can also have that conversation with your parents. It may also be that they have identified different things about all of you. And so they're trying to say, the way I relate to A, I can't relate to B like that. Even though A may be appreciating the way they relate to B. So you go and tell your parents and say, I like the way you speak to B. Can you be talking to me like that? And also we have to be able to have those conversations, and those conversations also help to clarify why they're doing what they're doing, and why they're doing what they're doing, and also what needs to be done by either party.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. We'll close with this last question. Okay, and it says that I am a very lively person. My friends call me lively, but deep down I know I feel empty. and lonely. My relationships with guys and every other person, apparently this person is a female, have not been too fruitful to progress into something serious. Okay, I think you've answered that. There's something wrong with me, but just that first part, okay, when the person says, I'm a lively person, but now I feel that I'm empty. Can you please address that?
You're lively. It means that people perceive you to be lively and all, but deep down within you, you feel empty. Let me use that word. And it is for you to now find out exactly what's going on within you. For this person will need help. This person will need to reach out to talk to someone for help. Because you need to identify exactly the state of the mind in terms of the emptiness, the loneliness, and what is going on within such a person.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. We have come to the end of Mind the Mind 2.0. Thank you, everyone, for staying on. Hello, Cthulhu.
Also, looking at how you see yourself.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. We have come to the end of Mind the Mind 2.0. Thank you for staying till this time. I'm sorry we may not be able to take any more questions, but we would actually do like a screen grab of all those questions so that we can, take them. We can send you your answers through your email, and we may take them and screenshot maybe through our social media platforms. Please be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Emotional Wellness Tribe. You can also do us a mail, emotionalwellnesstribe@gmail.com. We'll be glad to have your questions, your concerns, your suggestions, and we would also be glad to take you in a session if you so wish. Please feel free to reach out. You do not want to keep these things bottled up within you. We've talked about the state of your mind. We've cut across how your personality affects your relationships. We've talked about the need for you to really stay focused and trust the process as you mind your mind. Please take note that no one can actually say that they can survive on their own, but even with that realization, please note that you would need to find help when you know that you are overwhelmed. Please reach out. Do not, stay in silence or hurt alone. Reach out. You can reach out to me, reach out to Cthulhu Alfonzo. We will share. You can reach out to her at Cthulhu Alfonzo on social media platforms. You can also reach out to Pastor Dele at Dele Agbogun on social media platforms. Reach out to me also at Emotional Wellness Tribe or at Olurunke Oluwalere. It's been nice having you all logged on. I can see everyone here, even though our videos are kind of muted. So right now, I would allow that if you so wish, we can all, unmute our videos so that we take a selfie together, if it's okay by you. All right, so as we end, everyone can turn on their videos if you want, so that we take a selfie. Thank you very much for coming. We'll keep you posted on Mind the Mind 3.0 as events unfold. Please note that you would get some feedback forms after now, so that you can also give us your feedback about the program so that we can improve on the next hangout. We hope to have the virus cleared out, the coronavirus cleared out from all the nations of earth very soon. All right, but even while we're still tackling it, note that this is the new normal, and you may need to please do the needful. Stay safe, keep safe, be careful with your relationships. If you do not have businesses to attend to, please stay wherever you can stay safe. And please also note that while you mind,
Sir?
the major reason why we're minding, I'm deciding to mute everyone. Once I've muted you, don't unmute if you know that there's noise in your background, okay? All right, even though you have permission to unmute, please stay muted if there's so much noise in your background. Thank you, everyone. I see Dami, I see Temidaya, I see Shade, I see Folashade Amoregbe, I see Folashade Idaba, I see Davina, Moses and Romeo all the way from the UK. I see Sam Davies, Oluremi, Chidi, I see you, even though your video is off. Adekemi, I see you. Paul, I see you. Boyega, thank you. Shegu, Rademola, Kemi, I see you. Amaka, and I see that Infinix Note 5. I don't know who that is, but thank you everyone for joining. It's been a pleasure being your host today. We appreciate your coming. Any last words from Coach Tolu? I've already taken some selfies already. Any last words, Coach Tolu, as we
Thank you for the nice this, and thank you everyone for joining us this morning. Wherever you need help, feel free to reach out. Myself and Olurunke will be available to attend to you. So mind your relationships, mind your mind more importantly above all things. Take care of yourself and God bless.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone. We love you. God
Bye.
bless you. Have a wonderful day. Bye. Emmanuel.